Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Carex and we are continuing on this beginner playthrough of Muscovy. And we are, of course, teaching the game, right? We're not just playing the game, we're teaching the game. But also the interesting thing is I'm noticing there's a lot of repetition going on with Muscovy. Muscovy, this is why Muscovy is such an interesting nation. You don't need alliances you don't rely on alliances to do well. You can win all the initial wars. You can beat up Novgorod to your heart's content. You get a lot of experience with war. We've attacked Novgorod. We've attacked the Great Horde. We've attacked Kazan 2 times, Novgorod 2 times, Great Horde once. We could go attack Livonian Order, right? You have all these opportunities to just war. We're doing a lot of repetition here of how to micro our troops, how to win the wars, what the important provinces are, talking about war gold, talking about the castles, talking about the fortifications, talking about how the capital matters so much. We're doing all these little things, sort of reaffirming what what we've learned a few episodes ago. And guys, keep in mind again, right? We're building a foundation, right? We're teaching the game. We're building a foundation to explain the process of playing this game. I'm not teaching anyone how to play Muscovy. We're building a foundation. And to do that, you kind of obviously we had to kind of navigate through the menus and the systems and ask questions and answer questions and stuff like that. And we kind of do that and we build on what we know, right? We build up a foundation and we build off of that. So of course, if you're joining us, because the YouTube algorithm is really weird, if you're joining us for the first time with this episode, you might want to check out the playlist link down below, and that'll get you to episode 1, right? That'll get you to episode 1, and where we sort of build the knowledge base based on the viewer not knowing how to play the game. So presumably people that are watching this episode are probably trying to learn how to play the game, and that's where it all starts. We are playing without the DLC. That is also worth noting. And we're having a great time. I think we're having a good time. We have some interesting missions to work on even without DLC, and we're just moving along, just getting stuff done. We have won a war with Kazan. We've embraced the Renaissance in our country. We're winning this war against Kazan, so we're going to figure out what we want to take there. We've integrated some of our vassal states, and we're going to keep working on that. The war against Novgorod is going to end. Or sorry, the truce against Novgorod. What am I saying? The truce against Novgorod is going to end in 10 years, so it will be a while before we can completely remove Novgorod. The interesting thing is we've really kind of just going through the paces here, really just taking advantage of the different situations. It's going to be a while before we attack Novgorod. It's going to be a while before we can attack Kazan. We're doing well. It says that we can get some new technologies. This is a big one, guys. This is a big one. Admin Tech 5. It gives us a new idea group. You can now choose a new idea group. These idea groups, next to the technology tab, are like the different philosophies for a country. They're the way that we can customize our country, right? We can go in here and we can try to get religious ideas or economic ideas or expansion ideas. We can do all these different interesting things. There's sort of the diplomatic ones, the administrative ones, and the military ones. And these are things that are going to cost power points. This is going to cost us power points to work on these. That means that if we pick a military idea, it could mean that we'll be a little bit behind on military technology while we're working on these ideas. Because each one of these is going to cost 400 to finish. So it is quite expensive, but they're obviously you want to do them because these are incredible bonuses. Like if we look here, we can see infantry combat ability, 10%. Infantry is just 10% better. We can get extra yearly army tradition. That's really good. That gives us better generals, right? We've learned what some of this stuff means. Economic, we could just get 10% more taxation for the entire game. Like these are permanent modifiers and benefits that we get just for having these ideas. But we do have to sort of work up these different sort of little tech trees basically in order. So really, honestly, you could pick any of this stuff and it would be completely valid. Completely valid. We've been very offensive so far. We could double down on that and go offensive ideas. It's interesting how you can look at this stuff thematically, or you could actually try to look at the benefits and see, because like defensive ideas, well, we're not really playing very defensively, but this gives us land maintenance modifier, which is good. Gives us reduced land attrition, which is good because we're taking a lot of land attrition. It gives us extra morale of armies. That's also good. So there's things in here that are we're getting extra army tradition from battles, 100% extra army tradition from winning battles. That's really good. So defensive ideas don't literally mean you are playing defensively, but it does sort of allude to a more defensive style compared to offensive is just like blitzkrieg, like go, go, go. Diplomatic ideas are, if we're trying to be more diplomatic, we're not really playing much of a diplomatic game as Muscovy, to be honest. But part of that is because we just have weak diplomacy, like our geographic position and stuff struggles. This could help us overcome those obstacles and be more diplomatic, but I don't think we necessarily need diplomatic ideas. Trade ideas, obviously, that's really just helps us with our economy and boosting our trade value, just having more merchants to steer trade, having more trade efficiency, global trade power, all these different things, right? This is all really, really good. Economic ideas are absolutely incredible. We can get lower development costs. We can get production efficiencies. We can get all kinds of things. Religious ideas are really cool. We're kind of like, one of the things that we're running into, right, is we're starting to build up some religious non-unity. We have provinces in our country that are expensive to convert. They're expensive to convert. And they're very difficult to convert because they're Sunni. There's a huge negative modifier because they're Sunni. Religious ideas, and we're Orthodox. There's not a lot of Orthodox nations in the world, so as we continue to conquer other nations, we'll have to convert those people to our religion to create more harmony within our country, right? More stability within our country. And the religious ideas help us do that. They give us more missionaries. They give us more missionary strength. They even give us a special Deus Volt Casus Belli against any country that isn't our religion. Wait a second. Any country that isn't our religion? There's almost no one that is our religion. We would get a special CB specifically against any non-Orthodox nation. A really powerful CB that just gives us justification to go to war. Deus Volt. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go. So religious is a totally really good, valid option for Muscovy and by extension Russia, right? Fantastic option. Quality is also very good, just increasing the quality of your troops. There's so many good choices here. Administrative is really good, makes it cheaper to build those cores, right? We're spending so much of our admin points on coring land. Admin just makes that cheaper. It makes it 25% cheaper and a bunch of other little benefits too. There's so much good stuff here. It's just absolutely insane. I think we're going religious ideas just for the fun of it. We're not even going to think twice about it. We're going religious. You could pick any of those options in there that sound fun or sound cool, and it would totally be fine. You can do whatever you like. You can customize the nation however you like. The thing is, they're all good. The developers of this game are not silly, and there's only 24 of those things. They are all incredibly powerful, and you could look at what fits the thematics, and I think for our Orthodox nation, as an Orthodox beacon in the world where there's not a lot of Orthodox, I think religious ideas are very thematic for Russia and for Muscovy and Russia. There we go. Let's end the war against Kazan before these rebels do their thing. Okay, so what do we have claims on? We have claims on all of this, so we want to kind of take that stuff. We also know that technically this belongs to Perm. Now, we could actually take it ourselves and then transfer it over to Perm, since they already have a core on that. And I'll show you guys, actually, without the DLCs, I'm not sure if we're actually allowed to do that. Let's do that let's experiment and see if we can do that. If we can't do it, oh well, we'll survive. We'll survive. Here's the only thing that I'm a little sad about here, is we don't have a lot of admin. Oh, actually, we have enough admin to do that, though. So we have enough admin to do that. But if we start grabbing more here, also, you can notice the aggressive expansion modifier is going up and up and up and up and up. People are going to be upset by this. Also, this is going to create an immense amount of instability. Now, Kazan and Novgorod, they can't attack us. They can't join a coalition against us because they're already... they have truces with us, right? Great Horde would try to threaten to join a coalition, but it's at 50. It's going to be 51, so it's really kind of on that edge of them really caring that much. And also, that's just, you can't have a coalition of one. Tavir, these guys, they're completely insignificant. If they want to join a coalition against us, be our guest. Be our guest. And it looks like actually Nagai is actually the one that sieged that. So we can't actually take this province. That goes to Nagai. That would go to Nagai. Oh, they're actually upset because they're not getting land. That's fine. We don't care about Nagai. So this is interesting. Nagai expects to get some help. They expect to get land. We could give that to them and that would give them some land. But I don't think we want to. That's a province that we want in the future. If Nagai wants to break their alliance with us, be our guest. Nagai didn't really do anything here. They don't really deserve anything in my eyes. We're going to take some money. Nagai will get a little bit of that, and we'll get a little bit of that too. We could have them break their alliance with Crimea, but honestly, I don't think it's really bothering us that they have an alliance with Crimea. I don't think it's bothering us at all. Let's take this. This looks good. Let's end the war there. Booyah. Now what I'm going to try to do... Oh. It already went to Perm. I guess Perm must have sieged that. Perm must have had control. They have kind of a similar color to ours. I guess I didn't realize they actually had control of that. Oh well. That's okay. So I don't know if we paid Diplo to take that unjustifiably, or if Perm got it because they had a claim on it as well. I don't know, but now they actually own it, so there you go. So we do need to core this land. It is going to be rather expensive to do this. And yeah, there's kind of a little bit of a bummer here in a few different ways. We're now working on administrative ideas. Religious ideas are administrative. This takes administrative power. So we're going to be kind of like really starved for admin points, and we're doing a lot of coring. That's the reason, you know, honestly, and here's the thing, even though we picked this, we haven't slotted this in permanently. We could... I think there's a way to... I thought there was a way to undo this. Are you... That's... Okay. I guess there's no way to undo that. Usually I thought you could undo that up until you actually start putting those in. Well, we have to core this stuff. It's like it's contributing to overextension. It's very important we get this core. That is priority number 1. That is priority number 1. But we do want to save up admin points to start working on our religious ideas. What's something good that we're actually looking forward to soon? The 3 missionary strength, right? Divine supremacy. This is really, really good because that'll actually allow us to start converting a lot of this land that is beyond our ability to convert right now. So we do want to eventually get up to at least that 3rd military step. Religious step, military step. I mean religious step. We're building up a lot of manpower. These 2 wars were very, compared to that one really bloody war that we fought earlier, these wars have been a walk in the park. I'm going to go around those rebels just in case, although these are black flag units, so it's not something to be super concerned about, but I'm going to sort of sneak around them as best as I can. Whoa, it says rebels. What did it just say about... I think it was just telling us that rebels had sieged that, maybe? I don't see... Oh, nope, rebels have spawned in Perm. Rebels have spawned in Perm. They're heretics. What's your religious situation up here, Perm? Tengri? Tengri? The heck? Yeah, Perm has some sort of like religious instability going on up here or something. Let's go up there and help Perm. We have a lot of manpower at this point. We're losing a little bit of money. Post-war blues, I guess. We can look and see what's going on with this province here. Looks to me that this is another wheat province. We could try to increase the manpower on it. Raise local manpower. Oh, that wasn't one that increases the development permanently. That was one that just gives a temporary boost. That's fine. That's fine. We'll be okay with that. We're just coring stuff as we get the admin to float in here. We're just getting stuff cored. We do need to continue to butter up our guys here so we can continue to integrate them. They need to be at 190 to integrate these guys, right? We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're many years away from attacking Novgorod, and we're also many years away from attacking Kazan again. Okay, just some free stuff. Make the clergy a little bit happy. Get some prestige. I'm down with that. I believe we can actually mothball all of our forts because I don't think any of our forts are covering unrest areas. We do have a significant amount of unrest that's going to happen specifically in the Kazan region, right? Yeah, there's going to be some unrest here. So we can just sort of stand by and prepare for that. That will take a while for it to progress, though. So it's not just going to instantly appear on us. Just as we get these admin points, I'm just slotting them in over here. 1 more month and we'll be able to get the final one done. So those are going to get cored. That's going to reduce our overextension as those get cored, which increases our trade power again and sort of brings back our economy a little bit and also helps against reducing the unrest. Because right now this is increasing national unrest is one of the things it's doing. We're making some really good money. Again, if we didn't, and we're also paying a lot of money to root out corruption that's being added because of the overextension, right? Ooh, the rebels are absolutely just slapping around Kazan's army here. Yikes. Kazan's not going to be able to even get rid of these rebels. Poor guys. Poor guys. Funny thing is we could attack the Great Horde. I wonder if... I'm actually kind of curious here. Let's bring back a diplomat to test out this declaration of war here. I was going to say, I wonder if Nogai would actually help on this or not. They would. They would help. We need another advisor. One of our advisors died. We could try to get a level 2. They're quite a bit more expensive, however. Yeah, they're quite a bit more expensive. I think we get the level 1 guy for now. Unfortunately, he doesn't really spy network construction. That doesn't help us too much. Do we still have the claim? We do still have the claim on the Livonian Order. What's the alliance network look like for the Livonian Order? Riga Teutonic, it's the same as it was. Oh, the Teutonic Order is not the same as it was, though. Holy cow. Teutonic Order, like, was way down here. They're this big country down here. Now they're just this tiny little dude. They only have one province. So the Teutonic Order is not as they were. They are not the same as they were. I'm kind of tempted to try to build more claims on this region, so that if we do go to war with the Livonian Order, we can actually benefit more from that. Because Livonian Order, like, Riga's a one-province minor. Teutonic Order's a one-province minor. These guys here are pretty small and weak. We could easily win the war against the Livonian Order. They have a bunch of allies, but it's completely insignificant to us. So since we're waiting a long time for Novgorod, we could essentially, basically, plan to attack the Livonian Order. What's the truce timer on Kazan? Click on any of their provinces, right? Just checking this white flag. Boom. Truce with Muscovy is in that list. Okay, 1482. So 12 years away. Wow. 12 years away. I don't want to lose the administrative power. I don't really care about the merchant guilds or the nobility's loyalty, but I don't want to lose administrative power. So we are going to pay to keep the administrative power around. That's also actually going to give us a land maintenance modifier because it made them a little bit happier. So that's kind of neat. But we did lose some money. Let's take the money that we do have, however, and invest it into some good churches. And we could just sort of build. I'm just building based on this list. It organizes it by the most effective churches, right? The most money from the church, like the most change in income. This is the change in monthly income from building the church. And it's important to note this is monthly, not yearly. So that ends up being a good amount of, that adds up, right? These churches pay for themselves in about 70 to 100 years. That sounds like a long time, but when the game lasts for 400 years, that's pretty good. Oh, we have a morale guy. We might have lost another good guy, like a discipline guy or something, but we have a morale guy now. It's pretty good. The Permian separatists. The Permian separatists, huh? Are actually making gains, it looks like. What are we doing with this event here? Losing prestige, apparently. It's saying it'll take about 2 years for this to happen. I think what we could do is we could actually reduce army maintenance for a while. Why are we paying so much in rooting out corruption? What's going on there? Oh, the overextension is still taking effect. This is almost done. This is going to be coming in soon. That'll also slow down the rate of rebellion as these come in. Now we can, I believe... Oh, we're over our governing capacity. We cannot make new states. We are over our governing capacity. Yikes. Yikes. That's tricky. That's tricky. We can get some prestige and make Denmark angry. That's fine. We get a half-cost level 3 guy. I don't know if we can afford this guy. 4 ducats a month, but he's a level 3 advisor. That's very expensive, but very good. I think we do pay for him. I think we slot him in. Taking on some of the Danish advisors, I guess. Does it say he's actually Danish or something? He is Danish culture, yeah. He's a Christian, or, well, we're Christian too. But he's a Catholic. We're Orthodox. We're part of the Christian, like, super religion group, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we consider him to be a heretic. He considers us to be a heretic rather than a heathen. That's what I mean to say. We can get more military technology, and we're behind on this right now, so there's almost no reason not to. We can get more Diplo technology, keep up to date on that, which is good. We're now ahead of time. We're 8 years ahead of time on military. This is good. This is good. We have new unit types, superior unit types. We have new cavalry. So we could slot in the new cavalry, and basically you just have to click on the cav here, slot them in. There we go. We need a new administrative advisor. The inflation guy has died, sadly. But he did a good job. He did a good job. He kept the inflation down. You can see that our inflation graph here is clearly going down. So he worked on pushing that down. Good for him. Good for him. Wonder if these 10,000 Kazan troops will do better than the other engagement when these guys come over to engage here. The Burgundian succession has happened. They went with the von Hansberg prince. What does that mean? Burgundy is gone. Oh no, Burgundy just joined the HRE. They let Austria take over their country, but it looks like France has basically been beating them up. France has taken a significant amount of land, but Burgundy is now being sequestered into the HRE as a PU under Austria. So I did not see the rebellion happening there. Raise the army maintenance ASAP. Raise the army maintenance, guys. Holy cow, this was not what I intended. We need a general, and we need a general now. Uh-oh, this was not what I wanted. We don't have any morale here. These guys are not prepared to be fighting this battle. Okay, but they won? Okay. Rebels are separatist rebels are typically they're just kind of weak. If that was actually an enemy stack of troops, that would have been incredibly bad. We also raised morale quickly enough, I think, that we got a tick or two during the battle. Okay, that was the rebellion, though, that just snuck up on us. I was not paying attention to that at all. At all. We'll keep a low maintenance so that those guys can it looks like they reinforced. They didn't even lose that many guys. That didn't really cost us anything. That's crazy. The heck? Anyways, well, there we go. There we go. I'm tempted to actually shuffle out. We have a huge amount of manpower. Let's shuffle out our mercs. Where are our mercs? Mercs, goodbye. You guys have done enough for us. What we could start doing is building our own army, right? Let's start building our own army. We have the manpower. We finally are swimming in manpower. So we're building 9,000 more men up to our force limit. We're making big, big money. And we have about 50% manpower, which feels pretty good. I gotta say, guys, I think at this point, like in terms of what we can learn with Muscovy, right? Oh, the interesting thing is we now have coastline. We're building up some sailors. We could start to build some ships. We could totally start to build some ships. We haven't done this yet because we just got our first coastline. Well, we have coastline up here. Well, actually, this was a while ago, right? I forgot we had coastline. We've been ignoring this, but we could start to build ships. We could start to build a navy. We have a naval force limit of 13 ships. We could build heavies. They're very, very, very expensive. They're very powerful. Galleys are really good in the inland seas, like the Baltic Sea. The galleys are very powerful. So against Denmark and Sweden, those could be really, really influential. However, spoiler alert, Denmark has an amazingly powerful navy. Amazingly powerful navy. We're not going to be able to challenge them at all. So for the most part, I think what we're going to do is we're going to build light ships. And what light ships are going to do for us, we're going to slowly build up to about a certain amount of light ships. These light ships are going to be able to protect trade. They can actually protect trade in... I'm wondering if they're going to be able to work in the Novgorodian area. Or if they're only going to be able to work in the Baltic. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly what we can do with these light ships. But these light ships are really good at protecting trade and boosting our trade power in the different trade regions. See, like the Baltic Sea clearly is like, around a bunch of water. I'm trying to remember if... And like Kiev, you can't use light ships to protect trade in Kiev because this is landlocked. But I think we can in Novgorod. I think we can use light ships to protect trade in here and boost our trade power in Novgorod, which is where we're collecting the trade. So that's important. Losing a lot of prestige just with random events. That's what those are. They're really just basically just random events that can happen. Guys, at this point, we've embraced the Renaissance, which is a big technology obstacle for with the institution system. We've talked a lot about estates, although we haven't talked... What am I trying to say? We've talked a lot about the estates, but we haven't overemphasized these because they're not overly important. Although we could do another mission here. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is basically saying that for the most part, we've kind of figured things out. I would say someone that's watched this will be able to succeed as Muscovy. I don't know if you'll be able to maintain the pace that we've maintained. We have done very well. This is a good, aggressive playthrough of Muscovy. Very good, aggressive playthrough of Muscovy. In 30 short years, we've taken a significant chunk of additional land. We've won more war against Novgorod, and they'll be completely occupied by us. We're integrating our little subjects and unifying Russia. we'll be able to, once we remove Novgorod, we'll easily be able to clean up these smaller nations in here with free claims following our mission path. We're beating up on Kazan, and that's very easily, and sort of making gains down here to the southeast. So we're doing very well as... this is actually telling us to build a church somewhere. That's something we'll want to do anyways, I think. Wait a second. This is telling us to pursue a province. And this will give us free claims on the lower... on the... Ooh, wait a second. Ooh. That'll give us free claims over this whole area. That's kind of cool. So if we wanted to actually attack... didn't we separate peace out Crimea? We don't have a truce with Crimea. We could attack Crimea as a way to actually get into a war with Kazan. This could be really interesting. So we could do this. Okay, we wait a day. That gives us claims. That gives us claims on this area for free. So now we have a just reason to go to war with Crimea and take some of this land. And that will actually potentially cause Kazan to get into war. Even though we have a truce with Kazan, we can attack them sort of indirectly by going through Crimea. And they'll be called in as a defender. We're 5 years away from beating up Novgorod. But I guess what I'm kind of trying to say, guys, is mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. I mean, the thing is, this game goes for 400 years. And there's different historical things that happen all along the way, right? And we could talk a little bit about what we need to kind of form Russia and stuff like that. Like if we're actually working towards that, right? We can see that we go to the decisions and policies tab, and we can see form Russian nation. We'd see we can't do this yet. One of the things that we need is administrative technology 10. We're only on administrative technology 5. So there is just a time gate, right? You can't realistically form Russia until like 1520. It'll be about 1520 that we'll be we'll be in the right time zone to form Russia. But it's saying we also need Tver, and we also need Ryazan. We need these two provinces here. But we know we have plans to conquer these in the future to unify the Russian region, right? But that's it. We need to take these two provinces here, and then we need to get to administrative technology 10, and we have formed Russia. We'll get new Russian ID. We'll get all these new benefits. We'll get permanent claims on a bunch of areas. Yeah, Russia is just a beast of a nation in this game. And Muscovy is very powerful as well, even as you're getting up to that point where you can become Russia and become even more powerful and evolve into your super form, basically. It looks like our spy has been caught in Livonian order, right? That red right there means we've been caught. So that our spy network is actually decaying. The agent was discovered. We're losing one every month. We weren't quick enough. I think we must have had enough spy network here, and I wasn't paying attention. So the agent, we can just bring them home and then send them back later, basically, because they've been caught. It's time for them to come home. Time for them to come home. But guys, I think for the most part, this was a successful run as Muscovy. If we were to continue this game, we would go to war with Novgorod when the truce is up. We would go to war with Kazan when the truce is up. We would attack Crimea right now. We would attack Livonian Order. We can just keep doing that. The reason why Muscovy is such a bigger nation is because it is a little less dynamic. You don't have to play the diplomatic game the same way that you would as, like, maybe France or Austria, certainly, or any of these little Italian nations or any of the HRE nations and stuff. There's different countries. Russia is very much kind of just like a little bit of an aggressive, or Muscovy, I guess, is an aggressive kind of nation, offensive kind of nation. And because there's so much sort of differences in ideology in these regions, the Catholics over here, the Orthodox up here, the Sunnis down here, the Tengris over here, because of that, that differences in ideology surrounding Muscovy and the size of this area up here and the geographic distance between Sweden and Kazan, you can do a lot of conquering in this area, and these guys don't care about each other. We beat up Novgorod, Kazan doesn't care. We beat up Kazan, Novgorod doesn't care, right? Because there's a large distance, but they also just fundamentally, they have different ideologies. These countries have different ideologies. They don't really care that much what happens to each other. So Muscovy is sort of set up in a way to really piece apart their neighbors and do a lot of war and conquest. And that's what makes them kind of in fact, they're landlocked until you go to war with Novgorod, basically, right? We now have land. We can start building those ships and protecting trade and stuff like that. But for the most part, guys, I think the series is actually kind of at a decent conclusion. I'm planning on doing another run next. We've done Portugal. If you want to see a really like colonial trade kind of a run, Portugal, we do that. We go to the New World. We discover the New World. We start colonizing the New World. We do a lot with navies and trades and stuff. It's a very different contrast. It's a sharp contrast to Muscovy. Portugal also has to rely on diplomatic relationships with Castile and with England and with other nations in the Catholic world. And, you know, you beat up on the Sunnis in North Africa, which is kind of similar to Muscovy beating up on Kazan and stuff. But it's a very different situation with Portugal. But we've done Portugal with no DLC. Now we've done Muscovy with no DLC. These are what we're trying to do here is teach the process of playing the game. We're trying to teach the process of playing the game, and I'm continually trying to get better at it myself. But we've taken a look at Muscovy. We've worked through a good amount of the systems in the game. I'm confident that anyone that watches this tutorial start to finish will be able to not just play Muscovy, but they'll be able to play Castile. They'll be able to play the Ottomans. They'll be able to play Portugal. They'll be able to play Poland, maybe France. England and France are a little deceptively difficult for a few reasons. They have some obstacles that they're overcoming at the start of the game. But what I'm saying is you'll be able to work your way up to those things by getting some games under your belt. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Again, we will do more tutorials in the future. We have one with the Ottomans, but that's with DLC, right? We have one with Portugal without DLC. We now have Muscovy without DLC. We have one with the Ottomans with DLC. The next one, I'm thinking Castile with DLC. So expect Castile with DLC to be rolling out on the channel maybe tomorrow. And then I think we will also be looking at England with DLC or without DLC, and then France with or without DLC. So we'll continue to make more. I want to make an entire library of beginner tutorials. I want a beginner tutorial with Poland. I want a beginner tutorial with Brandenburg. I want a beginner tutorial with France and England and Castile and Ottomans and all the nations that I think are adequate for playing as a beginner. And Muscovy is definitely one of them, and that's why we've done Muscovy. So I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you for watching, guys.